the voice here lets students know, and then whenever you're ready, you have the entire class time.
Okay. So yeah, I will be talking here, and I just started the stream on YouTube. I'm going to post the link into the chat in a second. I hope it's the right one here. Yeah, here it is. So you can hopefully watch the stream and at the same time listen to me. It's not going to be possible when you're if you're on your phone. So I'm sorry about that, but you will be able to look at the Notion page after the presentation. So yeah. 1 second. Okay, 9 people on the stream already.
Let's give people a few moments to find and get to the YouTube stream. Again, everyone, we're going to be in two places. On YouTube, on the YouTube stream is where you will see, we're not doing screen sharing. We want to do this in a way that is easiest depending on individual internet connections. In the YouTube stream, the link that Demonade just posted, there you will see Demonade's presentation. You will see the visual of the new Notion page, and we will remain using the chat for typing. We will remain using English Classes Stage for voice. If anyone has questions about that, let us know in the chat. And Demonade, whenever you think enough people have found it.
22 people, 23.
Okay, let's give people just a few more moments. Again, take a look at the link that Demonade has pasted again into the chat. That's where you will see Demonade's presentation. You will hear Demonade's presentation just as you are in English Classes Stage. We will continue to use the chat for typing.
Okay, so I have like 2 screens here, one screen with the Notion page and one screen with Discord and YouTube, where I'm constantly switching in between both. So I'm basically switching between YouTube and Discord. So if you have questions, you can post those on Discord and also on YouTube. But I'm going through those after the first part of the presentation.
Perfect. Anyone else in the chat, let us know in the chat if anyone is having difficulty accessing the YouTube stream. A few more moments and we'll get started, okay?
Okay, we have 34 people now on the stream.
Okay, and Ammo, you had indicated before, I think, that you had a problem. Are you saying that you're able to get into the stream now? I've only seen one individual that indicated a problem. Rigas looks like they're indicating it's perhaps a connection issue on their end. Anyone else having problems? Looks like everyone's able to get in. And again, Ninive is recording the presentation, so even if you could not see the stream aspect, we will post the presentation afterwards. You will be able to review it. So you'll still be able to see what we're typing in the chat. You'll still be able to hear Demonade's voice here on English Classes Stage. And if for any reason you weren't able to see the stream itself, you will be able to replay this presentation after. All right, okay. Demonade, go ahead.
So 1 second. Now you should see the Notion page. Okay, so let's begin with how the Notion page started, or why there was even a need to rebuild all this. So the Notion page originally started to share a few notes, to share a bit of information, just not too much. And over time, there was more and more was added, and it got a bit confusing. So, but there was a bit like there were so many information. There are so many information, so much valuable resources, and for learning English and learning in general, it was important for me to kind of make it more accessible for everyone. And when it was mentioned in one of the classes that it might be necessary to kind of rebuild the Notion page, I already started researching and to see, looking up if that was something I could do, if that was something I could see myself doing, if I would have the ability to do that. And I never worked with Notion before, so that was completely new for me. But I saw that, yeah, I can do that, and I wanted to offer that I would do that. But then Alan wrote me and asked me if I would be willing to do that, and of course I said yes, because I already planned to do that. And I started doing my research and also downloaded the app and thought about how to display the content. And yeah, this is what we ended up with. In the last week, I worked on it a lot. Like, no, not last week, but like 2 weeks ago. And I created this. Well, yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm so nervous right now.
Everyone, what do we do when one of our community, one of our family is a little nervous? We come together and do this most important thing, our most special thing. We take a moment to give we share our courage. We share the courage and confidence that is within each of us, with everyone. We take a moment to spread the courage. We take a moment to spread the confidence. When we do that, we share that confidence. We help one. When we help one, we help all. When we help all, we help the community, our circle, which continues to go around. Dimine, take a moment to experience your community standing up for you, supporting you. We know that when a student comes to us and gives us the opportunity to offer that support, it's a gift. When any student stands up and says, I'm nervous, I need a little encouragement, that's a gift. It gives us the opportunity to be community. It's giving the community a gift to be itself. Dimine, thank you for that opportunity. Every time a student says, I'm a little nervous, every time a student says, I could use a little encouragement, that's a great thing. Thank you to each of you for being not just part of community, but for sharing yourselves, including those moments that you need a little help, a little bit of encouragement. It is the most important part of our classes. It is the most important part of learning. It's the most important part in so many ways of all of our journeys, coming together as community, coming together to help each other. Dimine, take a deep breath of community, take a deep breath of the sharing of courage and support. Take as much time as you need, to breathe in our amazing community, to breathe in courage and support. We are in no rush. Whenever you're ready, take a deep breath of our amazing family, and whenever you're ready, you can continue.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah. So why did I do this? It was really important for me to display all of this valuable information and all these resources which are so important and helpful for learning English and learning in general. So as I said, I never worked with Notion before, so I kind of informed myself about it as I went along. So I basically built the street while driving on it, kind of. And it was very confusing at first, but after a while I figured it out. And I'm also going to talk about that at the end a little bit, how that worked, how I used Notion, how I figured it out, so that you all can also use that, because it's very useful. But for now, we're just going to take a look at the Notion page, which we have here, the second version. So yeah, the first thing I've done was kind of separate all of the information you can find there in different categories, which are general info about class, the schedule, of course, exercises, student presentations and speeches, resources, advice, your feedback and suggestions, and also additionally a part about me as the co-creator of this Notion page, and at the end also a table of contents where you can navigate through the whole page. So we're going through each category. So here in the general info about class, of course you can find Ellen's introduction, class principles, and more about the approach in these classes in general. In the schedule, you can, of course, find the schedule, the times when the classes are, and when you click on this link here, you can see when the next classes are going to be. And I also added 2 widgets with the current time in UTC, since the schedule is in UTC, so you can directly compare the time in UTC and your local time. So no matter where you are and you open the Notion page, you can see the UTC time and your local time. And of course, then the next classes and what we're going to do. Also, you can find the upcoming presentations and speeches and the ones that are to be announced, of course. And going back, the next part is exercises. I thought it would be great to have a short explanation for each exercise as to what it is about, what we're doing in there, because if you're new to the classes, it might be like you see the title and you might not know the exercise yet. So you can click on it, for example, the pronunciation exercise, and you have a short explanation about it. Here you have the approach of when it looked. Okay, here you can see how we approach this exercise. And of course, material, like tongue twisters, poems, short stories. You can also just, like, you want to do the pronunciation exercise and you click on there, and then you have all these tongue twisters. And also FOVO, the pronunciation dictionary. So you can also use this for yourself, not just for the classes. That's one of the most important things about this. These exercises are, of course, we're doing those in the class, but you can also do those outside of a class. For example, in voice chats, or I don't know, just in general, like on your own, for example. Like the pronunciation exercise is also something you can do on your own very easily. Student presentations and speeches. Here are the upcoming presentations and speeches, just like in the schedule, but just on its own. Here's a category. Also, the information about how to organize and schedule a presentation, and past presentations. Here, also separate link for the first presentations. So yeah, moving on to the next category, we have resources. Resources is one of the most important things on the Notion page, since it's also part of the title. These are things you can use for studying English on your own, not just doing classes, just like the exercises. Like story, literature, poem collections, and Here you find various resources and links. Really, I'm just looking for something. For example, the vocabulary list. You can also find that one here, and just many different things, which you can take a closer look at after the presentation. Also advice. That's the next category. I thought I would separate those two because on one hand we have resources here, so like books or texts or style guides also, or dictionaries which you can use as a tool. And advice is about how to learn vocabulary, how to better memorize vocabulary, and about shyness in learning English, for example, or also student advice. The next category is your feedback and suggestions. There are those Google Forms I've created for class topics. If you have anything you want to talk about during classes, or the Google Forms which I've created. I can't really read it right now. I'm so sorry. It's so far away. Sign up forms, of course, for the presentations. And yeah, that's basically the Google Forms section here. Then we have another section, also about me. At first, I didn't want to create that, but yeah, here it is. So I also introduce myself a little bit and also talk about how the Notion page was created. So an abbreviated form of this presentation right now. So, and of course, a table of contents, so you can jump between those categories wherever you want to go, so you didn't have to scroll all the way. And yeah, that was a short overview of the new Notion page. And also what I wanted to add at the end, in this part about the Notion page itself, there's also a Google form for feedback. So if you have any feedback about the Notion page itself, or also about the content, but mostly about the way it's displayed, you can fill out the Google form here, and it's going to be sent to me, and I will look at it and see what I can change, because this Notion page is something that's always changing. Like, you already know that from the other Notion page, but that's going to continue on this Notion page. It's always going to be changing, and there are also probably some things that are still missing from the other page. So if there's anything you notice, feel free to let us know, either through the feedback form or through direct message. But yeah, it's an ongoing project. Yeah.
Demonade, thank you for that first walkthrough so much. We've only just begun, everyone. We've only just begun. We're going to get further insight to how Demonade put this Notion page itself together, and giving you pointers, advice to build your own Notion page as well. As we applaud Demonade, and we're going to do that again in a moment. Hold your applause for just one moment. Store them up. We are going to release them again in just a moment. I want to point out the most important section. Demonade, can you scroll back to the section of co-creator? I want to point that out. That section on co-creator, that Demonade said that she was hesitant to put. I instructed Demonade that that was the most important section, and that she must absolutely have a section that gave credit to her as creator of this amazing new tool in There it is. There it is. In many ways, as I have been saying in the weeks leading up to this, in many ways, this is the very first Notion page. This work was entirely that of Demonade. The content came from our existing Notion page, but in many ways, that section could just as easily be called creator of this Notion page. In fact, that section should be called creator of this Notion page. So I very much wanted and let Demonade know to include that there. For all this amazing work that Demonade has done. This Demonade has brought to us not just a beautiful Notion page, but a tool that going forward is going to be so effective, a place that we can start, continue our English learning journey for in our classes for this amazing work. Now, please, a huge release all that stored up applause, a huge round of applause for Demonade for this amazing, amazing work. And we could see in the chat, Demonade, while you were presenting, a number of students saying that they wanted to now create their own Notion page. And as we continue with the presentation today, Demonade will give you more information about her experience building this and about using Notion to build your own page. Demonade, this applause, of course, is for you, for our entire community. Demonade, what an amazing job. What an amazing job.
Thank you so much.
Demonade, shall we, as you, I'm sure students will have questions, and we're going to allow some time questions as well. Shall we go ahead and release the link now so that students can start to explore and perhaps better find questions that they have?
Sure.
Again, we want to make sure that you turn on the switch publish to web and that the link is to only the top level page that would take them to just the main page of the Notion page that you've been presenting. And it'll take us a little while, everybody, to make sure all the links are updated. You may have old links to the original Notion page. It'll take us a little bit of time to update those links. The old page will still be around to make sure that we have that content. There will be a little bit of time we need to make sure everything gets transferred. I'll need to work with Maggie, who did that amazing job of the channel classes FAQ, which is the great first stop for new students to find out about our classes, other teachers, and there are links to other Notion pages as well, so we'll need some time to update that link. But Demonade will be turning the switch to publish this to the web, and then we'll put the link there shortly, and you can begin to explore this. Of course, the Notion page is read-only. Where you would like things added, you can let me know. You can let Demonade know. A number of you, for example, have recently submitted, for example, some new tongue twisters. We will add those as well.
Okay, so just share to web, right?
Publish to web, yes. On the
Okay.
So that is on the top, and you should be looking at the main page. In Notion, you can publish any number of them. So we should be looking at the top level page, the Alan G links and resources. On that page, on the top right, no, if you click the share button. If you click the share button, the square with the arrow that goes up, there you see a switch share to web. You turn on share, and then above that, if you click share page link, that will allow you to copy the link, and that's what you would say.
Okay, done.
All right.
Okay, here it is.
Oh my gosh, there it is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's for real. It's for real. Everybody at the bottom of the
It's
chat
published.
it's published. Hooray! Hooray! All right, everybody, take a look at that link. You should be able to find the new Notion page. You can start exploring. Take a look at that. Explore, investigate, click around. Let's have a few moments for students to find their way around, see what their initial questions are. Again, we've also set aside some time for Dimine to continue talking about her experience building this Notion page itself, about working with Notion itself. We want to leave some time for that. But having just had our first introduction, let's give students a chance to click around, explore, see what questions you have about how it works, where to locate things. Let's start there. And then we'll return to Dimine's presentation to continue her experience building this particular Notion page and also getting you started building your own Notion page. My dearest, thank you so much. Wow, the Notion page is so beautiful. X, it's amazing. Again, everyone, for a while until we update links, you may find links to the old Notion page. We'll get all those updated as quickly as we can. Emma, oh my, it is so beautiful. If you have questions, we'll return, of course, to questions, but if you have any initial questions, go ahead and type them in the chat about using the Notion page. Again, we'll return to the presentation. Dimine will talk about her experience building this one in particular and building Notion pages in general. I love Arandi's comment. Whoa, this is like a Grand Central Station of all English learning. That it is. That it is. Still, some of the content, Abij, is expanding. As Dimine said, the Notion page will continue to grow both in structure as well as content. Many of the content was initially put there to later expand. That section on IELTS was one of those. A student had asked me about general advice for IELTS, and that was initially put there as something to grow. So much of the content itself will grow over time. That is one of them. Magic, this Notion page is awesome. Oh my gosh. Sagana, I simply love the new Notion page. Ronan, thank you for doing amazing and fantastic work for us. If you have any questions now, go ahead and type them in the chat about how to use the Notion page. Amity, they're different links. They're different links. The old link, the pin that is here in class's chat, I think there's a pin still here. That's to the old Notion page. We'll update those pins. Both will be around. At some point, I will remove access to the old Notion page. We want to make sure that all the content is. We think we have all the content that was there up until about a week ago. Over the last week, a few things have been added. We want to make sure that's all there. So both links for a while will work. Ninive. Again, thank you to Ninive for recording this presentation. Ninive, wonderful, amazing, breathtaking. Minds, thanks you, Demonade. Now all looks amazing. More easy, thanks. Zenichus, our Notion page is our, and going to all the more so be our first stop where we have so much information about our classes, our unique approach to learning. the materials that we use, the exercises, the description of the exercises. It's the place that you can start for our classes, your English learning journey. You'll learn more about it as you explore it. Randi, it will, at this point, the intention is that it is a page that has resources for for students to use. Students are always welcome to make suggestions for it and all aspects of our classes. Updates to it will be from either Demonade or myself. I'm kind of afraid to touch it at this point. I'm afraid to. Demonade is so amazing in her abilities. I don't want to put any smudge on it at all, so it may be only Demonade that's doing the updates. Abhij, we're going to talk about that in just a moment. That's a great question, whether a person needs a programming background to create Notion, and Demonade will talk about that in just a moment. Malit, that was amazing. All right. Malit, thanks for joining us. So glad that for your first time, it was amazing. We love having new students join our amazing community. I don't know, mine's maybe. It's awfully perfect. I don't want to mess with perfection.
It's not perfect.
Gabriella, it's awesome. Emily, very rich page. Good job. So glad to have you with us, Malit. Magic, easy to find everything, and good job. We'll get used to it very quickly. All right.
Question about the time. Yes, exactly. The left one is the UTC time, and the right one is always the local time. So wherever you open the Notion page, well, at least where the internet connection is coming from, that time it will be shown. So if you have, I can imagine that if you have like VPN on and you're using your internet connection from, I don't know, for example, somewhere else, I don't know, then I can imagine that it will show that time and not your actual local time. So, but yeah, it should work. Yeah, it's automatic.
Randi, the Notion page is the collection of all information we use for my classes and for the amazing learning community that we have created. We love welcoming new students. We love having new students of all experience levels in my classes and in our incredible learning community. We welcome students of all learning levels. We'd love to have new students find our amazing community here on the English server. We would welcome you to share the URL with anyone. We have students who are just beginning. We have students who are in the middle of their English learning journey. We have fluent speakers as well. Part of what makes the community the amazing place that it is that rich and diverse background. You're welcome to let students know. And it's a great time to mention and give a special thanks to the staff of the English server itself. We owe so much. We owe everything to the framework, the structure, the very home that we have in which we have been able to create this, that you have been able to create this amazing community. A special thanks to the staff, the administrators, the moderators, the senior staff, the junior staff. Anytime that you see staff who every day do so much to continue to create, to build, to keep the English server a productive and safe place, whenever you see staff, let them know your thanks. Please, a huge round of applause for staff itself. Staff itself, over so many years, the initial creation of the English server, its growth, its maintenance. We owe so much to staff. Thank you so much to all staff, administrators, moderators, senior and junior staff. Thank you so much. All right, any other questions? Sagana, the time is automatic is amazing. Yes, everything that Demonade has done on this is just so amazing, truly. Any other quick questions for Demonade as you're going through the Notion page, and then we'll return to Demonade's presentation and talking about her experience building this page in general, as well as getting you started, giving you some background and lessons, some initial lessons on building your own Notion page. Any other quick questions before we return? The and I'll have well, I'll speak to that quickly. Minds, the student presentations that asking about Gabriella's presentation in our class. As you know, we have the opportunity to do student presentations and speeches. Those are both informal or formal opportunities for students to work with a group of your fellow students or individually to present on a topic of interest to the class. It's a great opportunity to present interesting and useful information to everyone, and it is a great opportunity to do the most important part, which is taking what we learn in class and applying it to your own learning. In past presentations, we list what those are. Some of them we have recorded, not all of those. Ninive has so greatly volunteered to record as many student presentations as she can. She's recording this one. Where we have a recording of a student presentation, the link to that will be there. Not all of them have them. Gabriella's presentation we did, so if you can't find that link, let us know and we'll fix that. Okay, there is a lot of links. You should click all of them. It's so much great information available to find. All right, Demonade, let's return to your presentation, and Gabriella will take a look at that. Make sure you send Demonade and I a reminder. We'll make sure that I notice you've mentioned your name is written twice. We'll take a look at that. Let's return, Demonade, to your presentation. Demonade will now give us some further background to creating this page itself, as well as doing your own Notion page. As I said, I noticed a number of students who are now so interested in using Notion to build their own page. And again, Notion, one of the great things about Notion is so much can be done with the free version. We use the free version. There's so much you can do with it. So all the things that you have seen, all the things that you are seeing are done with the free version of Notion. You can do the same. Demonade, give us some background to the creation of this Notion page and building Notion pages in general.
One moment. I'm just looking for a link to a stream.
Take your time.
Okay, here it is. So, everyone, I will show you on the stream again how to create a Notion page. I think it's a bit easier if you look at the stream. A lot of people disconnected from it again. So,
and again, we're in three places. We'll continue in the chat for typing. You'll continue to hear voice as you are in English classes stage. The stream is showing the actual Notion page itself. And if for some reason you're having trouble seeing the YouTube stream again, the presentation is being recorded. We will post that as soon as it's available. You can review the entire presentation. If you weren't able to see the stream, you'll be able to see it in the recording. Demonade, go ahead.
Okay, so 22 people are watching now. Yeah. So I thought about how to show you all how to use Notion quite a lot, actually. So, but I think the best way to show is just to create one together. So, yeah. How did I get started? Well, I just downloaded the program and tried out different things, actually. And I didn't really. It was a bit confusing. I wasn't able to create anything, actually. So I watched a YouTube video about the basics, and there are a lot of things like extras which you could use, and those are really confusing. But once you just focus on the essentials, it's a bit easier. So yeah, of course you can add a title here, and then a short description or something. So that's the most. I apologize for typos. The screen is pretty far away, so I can't really see anything. And there are different things you can do. So you have those different lines here, right? So you can move those wherever you want, and these lines have different like qualities, let's say. So for example, this is some kind of text information, for example. And then you can click here on this, and then you can turn this into many different things. For example, here you can see a regular text, heading in different sizes, another page, so it would be a sub page, so we can do that, for example. So you click on that, and then you have a whole new page within one page. And the great thing in Notion is that it's completely free. So you can make unlimited pages within one page. And that way you can add an icon here. For example, a tree or something. I don't know. Or a lot of people also use it for to-do lists. I started doing that actually after I got a bit more comfortable with using Notion. You can also add dividers in between. I'm just going to show you all a few basics. So like no worries, I'm not going to through each each thing you can use on Notion, because there's a lot. You can also add widgets and stuff, but that can be a bit complicated. You didn't need that. So let's make a to-do list here, like to do, and then click here, turn into this, and then here you can have different tasks, and for doing that you can write /, and here you have different commands basically, but it's visualized, so you really don't need to have any programming skills for Notion. It's pretty simple. Once you've kind of figured out the basics, it kind of explains itself. So what we're looking for is to do, but you can also just type to do. You see the first thing is there. You can also press enter, and then you have this checkbox, which also grays out the text within once you click on it. And when you click enter, if you write something, I'm sorry, here, so you can I'm sorry, this tutorial is a bit chaotic, but I hope it helps you.
And there's so much, of course, to the building of Notion. So many features, as Demonade said. I am sure that students will want Demonade to return and do an even more in-depth description display tutorial of Notion. Students are welcome to use the feedback forms that Demonade herself has created. We have a set of feedback forms. Demonade can point those out again. And one thing you can do is mention there that you would love Demonade to return for an even more in-depth view of Notion, perhaps asking her to demonstrate building of certain kinds of pages. And you're doing, as everyone is saying in the chat right now, you're doing great right now with your introduction to us.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And another thing that is important, which I've used a lot, when you write something, for example, dictionaries, and you want that bit of text to link somewhere, you can also click here. Like I didn't click anything. I just marked this bit of text, and then this will appear. And here you have different options. You can add a comment. I've never used that. And you can add a link. So if there's a link you want to share, you can just paste it in here. And everything someone's going to see visiting this page is just the text with a line underneath. And they just have to click on that, and they will be directed to the web page you want to lead them to. So it looks a bit more, it's more clean. So you didn't have like a list of links, but just a link of the titles, for example, of the pages, and you just have to click on those. That's also very useful. I've mentioned that the widgets for Notion, they can be a bit complicated and also kind of step to line of programming. So like if you can do that, it's useful, but you didn't have to be able to like to know about programming. There are pages for that which have codes already prepared, so you only have to right click. No, wait a second. Slash embed, and then you can embed any link. And there are pages where you can find different widgets, where you can change how they look, what they show, and for example, the clock, for example. So you can change the time zone which it shows. You can change it to a certain one or the local one, as I did in the schedule. And then you get a link for that, and you just paste it in there, and it will show as it's supposed to. I can get a link real quick. It's Indify. It's completely free. I just had to create an account, and yeah, it's in the chat right now. And yeah, there you can create different widgets. It's a pretty new website as far as I've seen, and they're also going to add many more things. You can also add a calendar, I think, or a timer. There are many different things you can use it for, and it's by far the most easy one to use, because there's also a different website with those things, but it's very complicated, and I was really confused. So I also don't know everything about Notion yet. There's so much more to learn about it, and to so many more features to use, which I haven't learned to use yet. I mean, of course, I only started like 3 weeks ago to use it. So, but yeah, just I think that's it actually. Those are the basics for the Notion page, and with all these basic tools and features, I've kind of created that Notion page. Links, dividers, those widgets from Indify, and just moving around stuff, like putting those in different sections, or even adding new like sub pages, that helps so much. And to those sub pages, as I've shown you before, you can add tiny icons, so you can see already from when you scroll through it what it is, so you can recognize it. And you can also add something that is called a table of contents. I think you can also just see it here. It's no, that's not the one, but it's also there, and it's very here it is. It's automatic, so like it's empty right now because there's no content to display, but yeah, that's the last feature I've used. Yeah, that's it.
I have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of confidence in something that you may have heard Demonate say just a few moments ago. She said, I don't know everything about Notion yet. I think in about 48 hours, she's going to figure out the rest. I have a lot of, yeah. That is amazing. And as Sagana pointed out, it sounds like, speaking to Demonade, Sagana mentioned it sounds like you've known Notion and its features since a long time ago. And that's extraordinary. As you heard, that is extraordinary. As you heard Demonade mention, she started with Notion about 3 weeks ago. About 3 weeks ago. Imagine what, you don't have to imagine, you can see all that Demonade has accomplished in 3 weeks' time. Not just, yeah, as Emma said, whoa, that's amazing. Sagana, unbelievable. In 3 weeks' time, to learn the tool itself, to learn Notion itself, to create it. Amity, we appreciate Demonade's humility so much. To learn the tool itself, to be able to create a page in Notion, and to take all the material that was in the original collection of material on the original Notion page, and in just 3 weeks' time to put it all together, to have this amazing tool, this amazing home for English studies that we have. Just extraordinary, just extraordinary. Gabriella, another amazing thing, how clear she organized everything. Amity, it's perfect. Other questions that you may have for Demonade? Again, I'm sure that students are going to ask Demonade to return for a more in-depth view of Notion, perhaps used for building other pages. Again, we use the free version of Notion. As Zach points out, there are alternatives. Notion is an alternative among many. We have been very happy with it. It is well suited to our English classes. Questions. Let's open up to questions about the page itself. And it's interesting. I expected this would be the case. We're having very few questions about using the page itself that Demonade has created. Demonade has created such a clear page, such a natural, intuitive page that there are hardly any questions at all about using the page itself.
I think it should. I should mention for a moment that this, while Notion page is a very useful tool, and it's also great that it's mostly free, but there are also some things people talk about, because I was researching about Notion a little bit, and it turns out like a lot of people have been using it for everything. I know for organizing the life and so on. And I just want to recommend to not use it for everything, because it might be tempting to use Notion for everything, because once you've figured it out, it's really useful. for like to-do lists or for calendars and everything, because you can connect a lot of things with it. Also Google and so on. But the problem is with the privacy of the content that is displayed there. It's not very clear. I haven't read into it too much, but just make sure that you don't like share like private information, private data there. That is very important, because it's not very clear how secure that page like Notion is, how they handle that kind of information. So just use it for stuff like we're using it right now, and yeah, just keep that in mind. I just wanted to mention that. I thought it's important to say that.
Thank you for that, Demonade. And any comment on Sagana's question about Notion to use for personal agenda and appointments?
As I said, you can like connect, for example, Google with it, but that's basically just your Google Calendar. But there's definitely also a way to like make a personal agenda. I didn't look into it too much actually, so I can't really show how to do that. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I can only say that yeah, it is possible to do that, but I don't really know how to do that.
And again, if students have particular questions like that, for example, Sagana, by all means, if you'd like, add to the feedback page that you would like a presentation from Demonade perhaps on using Notion for an agenda. That would be a great presentation.
I can definitely do another presentation about that. Yeah.
Other questions in the chat about the building, Demonade's building of this particular Notion page for our classes or Notion in general? Any other questions in the chat? There's an interesting question from Arandi.
Like
or more
learning.
or more generally, or so the question, learning walls, any difficulties, any things that you could not overcome, any things that you could not figure out, or any particular aspects or any aspects that were particularly difficult to learn?
Those widgets, like they were really hard to manage, because I don't know, I think it was also with like HTML code, and I don't know anything about it. I've no clue how that works, or really, like, I just tried to stick to pre-made widgets with like a graphic user interface where I can just easily like change some settings, how it looks in the end, and which automatically generates a code which I can copy and paste there. And it's endless, yeah.
We're doing question and answers regarding Demonade's building of this amazing Notion page for our classes and her experience building with Notion in general. We can take a few more questions.
To answer Amine's question, yeah, it's endless, and that's something that is so amazing about Notion, because you could make infinite sub pages, and it's so incredible. Like there's no limit as far as I know. So you can really make a huge web page out of that.
Well, that's interesting. And Demonade spoke to this a little bit. Arandi's question, Diminate, as you were building, you mentioned a little bit about things that were that you felt were most useful or perhaps not useful for Notion. As you were building this page, did anything come to mind about other types of sites that you certainly wanted to use Notion for? And that follows up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and that follows up to Gabriella's question. Gabriella's question fits into that very nicely. What thoughts? What particular thoughts do you have for you that you will build further Notion pages for your own use? Arandi's question and Gabriella's question fit very nicely together.
I actually also have created a Notion page for myself with to-do lists also. To kind of organize my everyday life, but like just very general things, just for some notes, and also for I also added a reading list, so a list of books or websites which I would like to look at, and also a small section with I called it a weather station, where I have where I can look at the weather on different locations. Like, because I have family in Poland, so I can see on one page what's the weather like there, or yeah. So, but I don't have a lot of stuff there. Just those things, like a reading list, also one page with some different time zones, and yeah, the other things I've mentioned.
Perfect. Other questions about that's Arandi's comment is very interesting. Just how far you can go with Notion, and yes, that's a little bit off today's current topic. We can, Arandi will certainly, and others with a background in web building will certainly be looking at that topic. Other questions about Demonade's experience building what is now our home in our English classes, other questions about her experience using Notion to build our new Notion page or Notion in general. We'll take a few more questions.
Emily asks if there's a similar tool that can form endless pages but is simpler. I don't know. To be honest, I only worked with Notion so far, and I didn't really look into alternatives. So yeah, there might be some other pages, but some other tools, but I don't know. I don't think they are free.
And Sagana's comment, did you find that Demonade as you were working, and I would agree with that. I would agree with what Sagana said. That's certainly been my experience. Was that your experience as well, Demonade, that the more you worked with it, the easier it became? Give Demonade a moment. She may have had a connection issue.
I'm back.
Okay. Perfect. So Sagana's question, that is, or Sagana's comment to Gabriella, that it has certainly been my expectation. Was that your experience as well? That the longer you used Notion, the easier it became.
Yeah, because it got easier over time to kind of ignore the other features, because there's a lot of features, but not all of them are necessary. So after a while, when I got to know those, I found out which ones were the most important ones I should focus on, and which ones I can just kind of ignore.
Perfect. And Emma's question?
How much time it took? About a week. Even less, actually. I worked on it intensely for 5 days, I think, and I started pretty early at the day. Always, I was I was eating breakfast with my parents, and I was like, okay, I will just sit down and look at the Notion page and like change some things. And it was also really fun. It wasn't work for me, so it didn't feel like I was. It didn't feel like I was working or anything. It was really fun to do that, actually. So I was doing that for a few hours a day, so like 5 days or something. 3 to 5 days.
Arandi, another interesting question. Did you use any other tools, Demonade, while you were putting this together? How did you assemble your thoughts as you were building the Notion page? Did you use any other tools besides Notion to collect your thoughts, to organize your thoughts?
I only wrote. I took a notebook to write, like a piece of paper to write something down, but I only started, like, I wrote the title to, like, for figuring out how to what sections I would use for the Notion page, like how I would put this like what categories I could split all that information. And I ended up not using that piece of paper. I would just started writing on the Notion page those titles, and also kind of drag them along this page. Like, you can always move the text here, so I kind of did that. And as I figured out what order I wanted, so I basically wrote a few titles for possible like categories, and kind of moved them around and figured out how to do that, what order would be the best. So yeah, that's how I did that.
Great, great. Other questions in the chat. Demonade's experience building our new Notion page here. Demonade's experience with Notion in general. Any final questions as we come to the end of this amazing session, What's the feature that you like the best about Notion? Is there a feature that you think is the coolest feature about Notion? From Arandi.
I think it's very simple, but I really like that you can, like, add the time from different time zones, and also the local one. I think that was really cool for a schedule. Like, I was kind of, I think I think that's cool. Yeah, and also you can also add other things. I don't know. You can also, like, embed a Drive folder. That's, I think, the one I like the least, because you only see the Drive logo there. But I thought it would be a great idea to add that for the picture exercise, so you can have a preview of the pictures. But it turned out, no, there is no preview of the pictures. It was just the Drive logo, so I was kind of disappointed about that. But the best one is definitely the one with the times, with time zones.
All right. Any final questions? We're going to close the class pretty soon. Any final questions? Again, I'm fully expecting this. You are welcome to either by sending Demonade. One thing that Demonade has done, where we began to discover Demonade's amazing talents at building and formatting. Demonade has created and manages the feedback forms that you can now easily find on the Notion page. That is one option for providing feedback for example, further presentations by Demonade on Notion. For now, any final questions for this session? One last chance, final questions for this session. Amini's interesting question, Demonade, did you, I expect not, Demonade, did you ever find yourself getting bored building Notion? Or perhaps you could make that even more general as a great member of our classes as well. If you ever find yourself getting bored, what's your advice to students on that?
I actually really never got bored creating the Notion page, because there's just so many things, so many different features you can use there and you can look into. So I never got bored with that. And it's also in general, like all the stuff of formatting, like this information and all these resources, never got boring actually. I usually get bored easily, so I don't know. I would, if I would get bored of that, I would just try to figure out different ways to display the information. Like just try out different things, because there are so many ways to especially on Notion. There's so many different ways of displaying information there. It's incredible. So it never really gets boring. Just there's always something new to learn there.
That's such a great answer, which is so instructive and so applies so much to all our learning. Our English learning journey is never ending. When we feel we have found as much as there is to learn, there's always deeper to go, more to discover. When we reach the top of the mountain that we're climbing in our never-ending English journey, we find there's more mountain ahead that we weren't even aware of. So much to discover. Let's end with, I love Gremlin's question. Let's end on that question. That's a perfect end to today's session. Let's look at that question, and then Demonade, I'll give you a chance to make any final comments, and then I'll make some final comments to the class. But for this session, that's a great question to end with, the Gremlin's question. Demonade, how did you feel after your amazing work? How did you feel after completing the Notion page?
So it took me a while to realize that the Notion page is kind of that it's done, basically, that it's finished. Well, it's never really finished, so it's because it always changes. There's always things added to it. There are always going to be changes in the future also. So, but still, after like finishing the layout and having all of that there, I honestly couldn't stop looking at it. I was working on it for like 5 days or something, and I just kept looking at it. I showed it to my parents. I showed it to my niece. I was kind of proud of it, actually. And it was so fun. I also kept changing some things and looking through it, making sure that everything's done, and I was really happy with the with what it's what I created basically. And yeah, it was really fun. And as I said, it's something that is going to be changed. It's always going to change. It's nothing that is ever like completely finished. There's always going to be changes, and there are always going to be things that are added to it, or yeah. So there's always something new to be found.
And what and expressing that, what a beautiful comment from Minds. Learning, whether it's building Notion, whether it's learning English, whether it's learning a language, whether it's learning anything that we're doing, whether it's building the ongoing building of our amazing community. As Minds says, learning is an amazing adventure always during our entire life, that never-ending journey. Demonade, we cannot thank you enough. We'll try in a moment with our applause. We will try. We can hardly thank you enough. Demonade, what an amazing accomplishment. As mine said, you are amazing, Demonade. Congratulations. The Gremlin, thank you for this amazing work, Demonade. Emma, and yes, you can be very proud of this Notion page. Demonade, your final thoughts. For right now, the journey is never ending in this step just at this moment. Demonade, your concluding thoughts for just this current step in our never-ending journey. Your concluding thoughts to our amazing community, to your amazing family here.
This Notion page is just like a learning journey which we take, and learning English. It's never ending, and it's always changing, and there are always new things, new aspects to look at. So yeah, we can definitely look forward to everything that is going to be added to a Notion page or changed. Or there are also some sub pages which are not built out completely yet. So you can always look forward to it, and I hope you all will have fun using it for your English learning journey. And yeah, that's it.
Demonade, what an amazing accomplishment. There are so many people we have to thank. Let's begin with a huge round of our special applause for this extraordinary accomplishment of Demonade. To those of you who are just joining us, for those of you who this is your first time in our amazing community, this is the way that we show our appreciation. This is the way that we share our encouragement. This is the most important part of our classes, of our English learning journey classes. Environment, our warm, supportive environment, the sharing of our courage, this sharing of our confidence. This is the most important aspect of our community. And right now, the community is sharing with you, Demonade, their appreciation, their support, their expression of what an amazing accomplishment you have achieved, an accomplishment that will continue to grow. Demonade, thank you so much for what you have done. Thank you so much for what you have done.
Thank you so much, especially everyone who shared. Like, the response was so, like, the way you all I saw everything you wrote into the chat. I'm so sorry. I would love to be able to like respond to each one of the messages I've seen, but it was just so much, and I'm so I appreciate it so much. Thank you to each one of you. It's so great to be back and to finally present this Notion page, and that it's finally online also, that it's out there, and that I'm so happy that everyone can now use this tool as the way it was intended to. And as I said, I wish you all a lot of fun using it for your English learning, and hope it helps you.
I think the best part of Demonade's concluding comments, I think we all could see from all over the world, we all could feel that giant smile on Demonade's, that giant smile of Demonade as she was expressing that. We could all see that giant smile. We could feel that giant smile. That's the best part of our classes. The great abilities that we in this amazing community have found, that you have found within each of you. Demonade, that was the best part. You deserve that appreciation. You deserve that appreciation for yourself. As we so often say, the warmth and encouragement that we extend to each other, we want to extend that to ourselves as well. Demonade, that was so wonderful to see, to experience that giant smile you had, how much you appreciate and enjoy that. You deserve that so much, Demonade. You deserve that so much.
Thank you.
And as Emma said, Demonade shared with us that she is thinking about becoming a teacher herself. As Emma said, absolutely, Demonade, she is going to be a very amazing teacher. Demonade, again, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
There are others that I want to take a moment to thank as we close class as well. Some thanks once again. First of all, for the very ability to be here in the first place every day, for the ability to be here, the years that the staff of the English server have spent to build this amazing place, the English server here on Discord, the administrators, the moderators, the senior staff, the junior staff. A huge round of applause for all of staff here on the English server on Discord. They have given us the very foundation, the very place that we can come together, have built our amazing community, all the amazing things that we do in all our classes, our learning, that resulted in Demonade's amazing Notion page. This round of applause to any staff that happens to be with us now. This applause is for you. To any staff that happens not to be with us right now, this applause is for you. Everyone, whenever you see any member of staff, extend this thanks to them. We owe so much to them for the creation of this amazing place, the English server here on Discord. The creation, the continuation, the maintenance, every day they do so much. I want to thank, as Emma has become our resident poet, as Sagana mentioned earlier in the chat, Nineveh has become our resident filmmaker. We don't record, at least I don't record our normal classes. Nineveh has graciously volunteered to record our ongoing student presentations when she has the ability to do that. A huge round of applause to Nineveh, who has been recording our student presentations, who recorded this presentation. It will take some time to process the recording, and then we will place the link for this presentation on the new Notion page. That's where you'll be able to find it. To Nineveh, who is now our resident filmmaker. Thank you so much, Nineveh. A huge round of applause to Nineveh. And finally, there are so many names. There are so many names. As many students as there are in our community, as many students as there are in our family. That's how many names there are to mention. As many names as continue to become added to our amazing community. There are that many names to name. As we said in the beginning, this community is a reflection of you. Our amazing community, this is a reflection of you. Every time you are here, by simply being a part of this, you are making this place the amazing community, the amazing family that it is, where we have experienced how how very basic environment is to learning, to all things that we're experiencing. As we said in the beginning, I want you each now to name your own name to yourself. It is the most important name. Your journey is your most important journey. Your discoveries are your most important discoveries. It is, we owe so much to staff, to Demon Aid, to Nineveh. It is each of you as individuals coming together that we also and will continue to owe so much. It is to each of you as individuals coming together in community that builds, that continues to build and grow our amazing community, our amazing learning family. To Emma, our resident poet. Everyone, one final, in just this moment, huge round of applause for each of you, for community itself, for the work Demon Aid has done, for the students of our original presentations, for the students of our ongoing presentations. As we applaud community, we applaud each one. As we applaud each one, we applaud community. Our giant circle that goes ever around again to build and rebuild, to build and grow this amazing place. Thank you so much, each of you. Thank you so much, Demon Aid, for your presentation today. Thank you, Demon Aid, so much for what you have brought to us, a new home in which to continue our never-ending English journey. Everyone, as we say, take a look at the new Notion page for the upcoming schedule. We will do the presentation again at the immediately following class. You can take a look at that schedule on the new Notion page. The links for both the original Notion page and the new one will be active both for a while as we update the links in their various locations, but you will be able to use both, and we will be continuing to update the new Notion page so you can start to use the new Notion page and continue there. Demon Aid, again, one final thanks to you. Thank you so much for everything you've accomplished. Thank you so much.
No problem. It was so much fun.
All right, everyone, as we do, our special thanks are taking a moment to say hello to all those at the bottom of the chat. As we applaud each other, a moment to say hello in particular to those in the bottom of the chat. My dearest, as always, so great to have you in the class. Thanks so much for being with us. Emma, as always, thank you so much for your amazing contributions to class. Your poetry and all that has brought us and will continue to bring us. Everyone take a look at the new Notion page for the upcoming student presentations. Emma will be giving a presentation with other fellow students on poetry. We can't wait for that. That's coming up next week. Hi, the Gremlin. Thanks for being a part of our classes. Thanks for your great questions during Demon Aid's amazing presentation. Safa, thanks for being with us recently in classes and your great participation. Cat Zero, who gave us our first student speech on cats and how they improve our lives. Gabriella, who gave us that recent amazing presentation on connectors and linkers. That's one of the presentations that you can see a video of. The link to that is on the Notion page, what we can now simply call the Notion page. Sagana, as always, thanks for your amazing support to so many of your fellow students. Mines, thanks for becoming part of our classes recently and your great participation. X, so good to have you in class as always. I'm going down just the names as they are in order near the bottom of the chat. Demon Aid, thank you for everything, for your amazing presentation today, for the incredible work that you have done for the new home, for the new home that you have given us, from which to continue our never-ending English learning journey. Dryadala, so good to see you again in class. Thanks for being here. Nineveh, thank you so much for your great participation. Everyone, Ninive herself made an amazing presentation on motivation and stress. Take a look at that on the Notion page. Amini, thank you for your great participation in our classes and in the chat today, for your great questions. And yes, as we often say, if you are smiling, if you are having fun, if you are laughing, you are doing the right thing. You are approaching your learning in exactly the right way. If you're smiling, if you're laughing, if you're having fun, you are doing your English learning in exactly the correct way. Sagana, thanks again for all your encouragement to all of your fellow students. Hi again, Emma. Hi again, my dearest. The Gremlin, Dryadalis, Safa, Sagana, Mines, Demone, Gabriella, Sagana, Ninive. Hi again, Cat Zero, Amini, X, Safa, Fakai, Gremlin, Jaglers, welcome to our classes. Rigas, thank you for being a great part of our community and your participation in classes and in the chat today. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Demonade. Thank you, everyone. It is each of you who every day rejoins our amazing community and continues to build our incredible experience here, our incredible environment here. Take a look at the new Notion page for the the ongoing schedule tomorrow. One more presentation Demonade will be making at the next class time, the introduction of the Notion page, and tomorrow, open question and answer. Any of your questions relating to English learning in general. Thank you, everyone, so much. Bye just for now. Thanks again, Demonade. Bye-bye just for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.